So, Pauline, I want to start with you. Is this good news? I've been in a celebratory mood. Do you join my celebrations?
No, get over it, Rowan. It's not going to happen. What a hypocritical statement it is. They're sitting on the blasted fence. They still want their emissions. They still want the Paris Agreement. They still want to address climate change. For Christ's sake, let's deal with the whole thing. Is climate changing? Yes, it is. Is it due to carbon emissions? No, it's not. And that's the whole crux of the matter. One Nation has set the agenda here, Rowan. We've actually said right from the very beginning we did not agree with this net zero climate change policy and the destruction of our economy and what is happening to our industries, manufacturing, rising electricity costs. The Nats had to follow because since the election we've had a rise in our polling. We've actually going extremely well. The Nats came on board. They knew they had to get out of this net zero. Now the Libs have been forced to it because otherwise there would have been a split between the Nats and the Coalition and the Liberal Party. So we've set the agenda. They're still both sitting on the fence. Paris Agreement, yes, it is an emissions target scheme by the end of the century to bring down emissions. If they're saying this, then how the hell are they going to address it? Really, honestly, if they're going to address climate change, how do they expect to do it? Because the only way that's been put out there is about carbon emissions. Carbon emissions is about reducing it. So they still got to attack, whether it's the big companies, industries, the carbons they put out, the farming sector. This is all going to be addressed. And you spoke about before on the world stage. I went over to Brussels, to the European Union on a parliamentary delegation. I sat before them and they said to us, if you want to have a trade agreement with us, you will have to come on board with the carbon emissions and deal with climate change. It was a threat to us. No trade agreement, nothing. So this is going to be in the back of their minds. I'm telling you, we need to take control of this, get rid of net zero and get out of the Paris Agreement. Do not have all these targets that we put, and it was Howard that started this with the emissions target scheme under Howard. That's how far back this all goes, and the national energy market. So this has been in play by the Libs way back then in the Howard days.
Holly, I had the champagne all cracked out and it's gone a bit flat listening to Pauline. But Pauline is 100% correct in that the Paris Agreement is the fly in the ointment. I believe they can get around it. But, Holly, tell me, what do you think? Should I be in a celebratory mood or not?
Look, I'm with you, and hello to my dear friend Pauline. And I do think Sussan does actually, and I'm really pleased, Rowan, to say that you have given Sussan some of the credit. A lot of people were complaining about the length of this process, and I've got to say, even I was getting to the point where, oh man, come on, enough's enough. But at the end of the day, the party room has come together. They all need to get on board. And Pauline's right, though. This goes back to John Howard. And we can't let people who've now all of a sudden discovered this conviction. We can see in the footage Angus Taylor there. Angus Taylor was the energy minister who changed the bidding market from 15 minutes to 5. That is why the grid has instability issues, because of all the intermittent and unreliable power that is now able to be fed into the grid. So there are big changes that need to be made, and people that didn't fully understand it, and I've got to say, when you just played that part of Dan T, and I mean, you'd lose the will to live. Sussan absolutely needs to sell that message. She needs to sell it. All of those that are in that party room too, that are too stupid to know they're stupid, those that have got more ambition than conviction, get out of the way, stop your sniping, stop your snarking. She's shown the leader she's capable of being. I think you're only going to see more of this, and you're going to see the real capability of a woman who's a farmer, a single mum, who's gone and done her tax degrees and has more actual economic understanding than most other people in that room combined, and you're going to really see the fight start to come up. And I'm thrilled because, you know, I've been on your show and many others on Sky where I was probably the lone voice in support of her. I know her better than most people, and I can tell you this is just the start of her really starting to push a solid agenda.
So, Pauline, let's stay with this issue because, and I also want to ask you about Mar-a-Lago in a tick, but just staying with this issue, Barnaby Joyce is now praising Sussan Ley on this net zero call. Here he was on the Bolt Report last night.
I'd first like to congratulate the Sussan and the Liberal Party for making a move towards reinvigorating our capacity to reindustrialise Australia and get power prices, start putting so much upward pressure on power prices. I think you should be able to judge her work against the Labor Party and what power prices have been happening under them. As far as my part, yes, I played a part, of course.
So, Pauline, a couple of weeks ago on the show, we were playing Farmer Wants a Wife with you and Barnaby. But, do you need to woo him all over? Do you need to woo him all over again?
I'm definitely catching up with him when I'm in Parliament. I'll even cook him dinner.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Pauline, I need to get you to my pub. I have every single patron in the front bar ask me when Pauline's coming to visit. So you will be a big hit here.
I want to be there.
I'd love to, Hollie, thanks.
I want to be there. So, Pauline, obviously, I completely understand your frustration. You've been right out in the front on climate change net zero for all these years. Certainly, the Libs are Johnny-come-latelys, and the Nats, to a lesser extent, Johnny-come-latelys. We've seen many people desert the Liberal Party and the Nationals, to a lesser extent, to come over to One Nation. You have to hold on to those people, obviously. You're up at 15%. You've done an amazing job. So I can understand your scepticism around where the Liberals have landed. But I want to ask you now, Pauline, you made a terrific speech there at Mar-a-Lago. You were, you're on the world stage now. You talked about so many of the issues, including the Paris Agreement, net zero, what the damage it's doing to Australia. But tell us, Pauline, quick take on what was Mar-a-Lago like? What was it like to be at CPAC in the United States? You've obviously been at the one here. I've been there with you. What was it like?
Yeah. No, look, it was very, I'm very honoured and pleased to have been asked to speak at CPAC in America. And, we got so much in common with the American people. They're concerned about the high immigration, about the climate change, or not so much climate change, but what's happening in Australia. It's not actually happening over there because Donald Trump's taken control of it. But, with their economy, very much the same. A lot of the Americans actually came up to me after my speech and said it was a really good speech, and it was an eye-opener for them, what is happening in America. And also I said to increase the defence spending to 5%. If we want our men and women to put their lives on the line, we actually need to then increase our defence spending because of what could happen in future years, not that far down the track. We need to equip them with the right technology and equipment if we want them to defend our nation. So it was interesting. First time I'd been to Florida, so I was very privileged and honoured to be part of it, and it was an eye-opener. I didn't get to speak to Donald Trump at all. I didn't go and disturb him on Halloween night, so I had all the Secret Service standing right behind me, watching me, and everyone else who went up to Donald Trump. But it was a lovely experience, I tell you. So I wasn't going to go anywhere near him. But I met his son, Eric. Yeah.
Fantastic. Hollie Hughes, Pauline Hanson, thanks so much for coming on The World According to Rowan Dean. We'll speak again soon.